many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
You guys wanted me to tell you more? Well, I've got more. What kind of consumer goods are you guys using in your homes right now? The same stuff that everybody uses? Now, if you've been paying attention, you'd look at the back of the labels and realize that they're full of poison, full of toxins. Keep out of reach of children. Can you guys even find anything at the store anymore that doesn't have bioengineered ingredients? As people go to the store and keep buying the same stuff over and over like you're in the rut, they're even telling us to our face.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we are doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
Not just one, they keep telling us. Foods, the cleaning products, nearly everything in your house. Are you paying more attention at the stores these days? Because if you're not, you're probably gonna keel over a little quicker than other folks. And the sad thing is 99% of people don't know that we're getting hit from all sides. News and awareness, information that you need to know that affects you, coming right up. Welcome back. And for those of you that are new, we do a lot of videos, news and awareness, stuff that's in your food, fake meat, and other things that are happening in the world that just make you scratch your head. So if you guys like being aware, staying up to date, make sure you hit that notification bell, the subscribe button, so you stay up to date and informed. For everyone, if you like these daily awareness videos, start this thing up with a thumbs up. It really helps it reach more folks. Now, in the past, I've done videos like this one and this one that have reached millions and millions of people. And one thing I read a lot in the comments is, tell us more. Now, I've actually did boots on the ground, went to the store to give you guys visuals. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do you a favor. I'm gonna take off the ads. That means no commercials. Some of you are like, why would you do that? Because I'm gonna be exposing some big name brands. And when you got people at the top, they make some phone calls and they'll take me down quicker than you can shake a stick. So for that, take a couple seconds, make sure that subscribe button's on, make sure the bell's still clicked on. Got a lot of folks in our community writing in, for some reason, my notification bell's off. Haven't got notified of a video. Some of you even unsubscribed. This type of information, that should be expected. So let's get this ball rolling. And for those of you that didn't see my original short that got me going down this rabbit trail, I've got to show it to you. So for those of you that have already seen it, bear with me for 60 seconds so I can get some of these newer folks that are opening up their eyes, this great little 60-second short intro that I did. So wait a minute. We're living in a time where we go to the store, much like Walmart, and buy a bag of chips with a warning label on the back of the bag of chips, much like a pack of cigarettes. Warning: could cause birth defects, could cause cancer, bioengineered ingredients. Most all consumer goods owned by the upper umbrella, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, trying to control the world and monopolize all consumer goods. These companies are getting sued left and right. And the sad thing is everyone's still buying the same stuff. Unless you guys are doing an extensive amount of research, your family is probably in harm's way. Did you guys know that you could be spending the same amount of money every single month with non-toxic ingredients, made in America, family owned? We're helping thousands, showing them a better way. So if that captures your interest, be sure to visit us at switchwithrhl.com. Take a free tour of our store and get safer products in your home. That's right, bags of chips with warning cancer labels on it, much like a carton of cigarettes. And guess what? Everyone's still out there buying them like hotcakes. And listen, before we get going, you guys are thinking about changing some habits, switching some of the things that you're buying, switching stores. This day and age, all the crazy stuff that we're seeing, it's time for you to start voting with your dollars. Time for you to start supporting family-owned, American-made, and finally getting the stuff in your home, consumer goods with non-toxic ingredients. It's harder than ever to figure out what's good and what's bad. So having a brand that you can trust and save yourself some time of all the homework and reading labels. Look, we're talking about the stuff that you buy on a regular basis every single month. It's just a matter of switching stores, switching to a better one. So there's no better time than now to switch away from all that garbage and get a healthier home. We've helped thousands of people switch out all the toxic stuff to a better wellness brand. Link in the top of the description and the pinned comment, and we will help you switch stores. I'll give you guys a little bit more information on that more towards the end of the video. We got a lot to go through. Now, we've used this in the past, much like most of America, Tide, right? Now, I'm not sure if you guys have read the label, but I read mine and it said that you got to keep it out of reach of children. If you get it even on your skin to seek medical attention, is it that dangerous? Look, folks, with all of the crazy stuff in that stuff, and to know that we put it in our clothes every time we wash it, is reason enough to switch out what I wash my clothes with. Check this out. Tide laundry detergent is toxic, is what this little post says. It contains a chemical known as 1,4-dioxane. According to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, exposure to this compound can cause eye and nose irritation, kidney problems, and possible long-term lung damage. Washing your clothes and that stuff every single time for your entire life? Think about it. While we're on detergent, check this out. The Dirty Dozen of products with the highest levels of probable carcinogen 1,4-dioxane. Have a look. You guys might want to pause this and just snap a photo because it gives you all of the deets under every one. These are very common ones, and it's not limited to just these. So many are bad, but this dozen right here, I'm sure a lot of you guys use some of those. You may want to do some research or reconsider. We're in a day and age that we finally are at a place that we demand safer ingredients, right? Now, I've brought this up before, but I gotta bring it up again because it's just kind of a mind blower. Now, check this out. I know a lot of you guys have had Girl Scout cookies, but I got a little bit more information on that. This guy was shocked to learn about every recent study that tested them for harmful substances. These posts are from doctors. It found that 100% of the cookies tested contained glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup. What? So, the old Girl Scout cookies? Poor girls. Feeding you Roundup, which has been linked to autism. 96% contained lead. 88% had heavy metals like aluminum and mercury, which can harm the brain and nervous system. 76% had toxic levels of cadmium, which are linked to kidney disease and cancer. Sadly, until something changes, you might want to start avoiding Girl Scout cookies. This right here, Mark Heyman, MD. Every Girl Scout deserves better than cookies laced with toxins. Maybe it's time we start selling real food instead of science experiments. And that's in regards to scientists discover toxic ingredients linked to autism in 100% of Girl Scout cookies. Is that not sad and surprising at the same time? I'll tell you what, this type of stuff, for someone like me, is becoming less surprising. And ain't that sad? You think things would start getting better, but no, they're using very, very famous people to promote new stuff that's just as bad. Check this out.
For you option, and it tastes delicious. Drink Prime.
Prime, they've just come under a lawsuit because they were finding thousands and thousands of times the amount of microplastics in the actual drink. And what do the microplastics and PFAs, what does that do to the body?
It destroys it. It causes inflammation.
Thousands and thousands times the microplastics? Hang tight, I got something funny to show you right after this, or interesting.
It causes neuroendocrine disruptors. It eventually will lead to death. And the more you consume, the quicker that rate is.
And these brands as well, they're very smart. Like big food organizations like McDonald's, Pepsi, Nestle, they put chemicals in it, and they have scientists and universities looking at ways how they can actually make them more addictive.
Absolutely.
Look, if you haven't figured that out by now, most of this stuff, everything is owned under one big umbrella. One big umbrella, one big company. This company's got their hand in everything. Just one big guy at the very top. And when you're trying to sell to everyone in the world, you've got scientists on your side. And I know that some of you just haven't spent the time digging in, but they make this stuff addictive. They're making it taste better. They're making people, it's the same folks that are all tied up into the medical as well. So when they're winning on getting you addicted, and it's slowly making you sick so that you need a little help there too, they own the stuff that you're getting from the doctors. And guess what? Some of you know, some of you don't know. but the doctors, a lot of them are incentivized to push certain things. How about that? Now on my rabbit trail, ironically, I found this clip where Logan Paul, the big fancy guy that's promoting this drink, I think it might even be his, doesn't even drink the stuff. The bottle's completely empty. And then that strung me onto another video where he fakes a drink, doesn't even drink. Check this out.
Guys, I don't know if you saw this, but after this, I'm probably never drinking a Prime. Look at Logan fake drink this Prime right here. Yeah, let me just put the fake Prime water bottle on the table before it falls down. And then you're gonna see another cool flip and grabs the kid's water. Oh, don't, almost got in my mouth. Let me just throw it on the floor, the rest.
You've got this new drink that you're promoting. You're getting sued because of all the microplastics, yet you're still promoting it and you're using a fake empty bottle. You guys replay that again, like pay attention. I watched it like 4 or 5 times to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. In the stands, fakes a drink. What an actor, right? So I don't know the reason behind that, but maybe he's thinking it's not as good as he thought it was and he ain't gonna risk it. But guess what? The rest of the world can risk it. And look what just popped up. Finally happened. Girl Scout sued over alleged heavy metals and pesticides in the cookies. So there you go. News break. That's the headline. You guys can read all about it. And you want to know the sad thing is it takes someone like me on YouTube or like Joe Rogan to make this go viral for anything to happen. Right here on this article, it says, the headline is, after viral Joe Rogan clip, Girl Scouts are now being sued over claims that cookies contain pesticides and heavy metals. No wonder why everyone's turning to social media outlets to get real news these days. Trader Joe's and more news that affects you. Popular foods sold at Walmart and Trader Joe's, and more recalled. What you need to know. You know, a lot of folks eat these things, the little oyster crackers. Over 15,000 cases of oyster crackers have been recalled due to a hazardous foreign material. And it's not just them, it's the Target's Market Pantry soup and oyster crackers, Walmart's Great Value soup and oyster crackers, Giant Eagle oyster crackers, Vista soup oyster crackers, and 20-pound bulk oyster crackers. While we're on a roll, how about this one? More than 75,000 bottles of International Delight flavored creamer have been recalled. Folks, I know a lot of y'all drink that in your coffee because I know there's a lot of coffee drinkers out there. And that includes the creamers hazelnut, Cinnabon. They're saying that they're unsafe to drink after consumers issued complaints of spoilage and illness. Now, this is happening everywhere and it's getting viral. Like, there is over 30 states that are affected. You guys can see them scrolling through right there. Too many for me to list, but wow. Updated. 31 states now. Class 2 recall. I can't imagine how many millions of people drink this stuff. Now, I learned about this fake stuff a long time ago. If you guys do a bunch of deep diving on the ingredients, you guys wouldn't drink this in the first place. We've switched to the real stuff. How about this? Popular frozen drink linked to children's illness study finds. A lot of things out there that get fed to the kids that are not safe. It says a popular summertime treat could contain hidden dangers to kids' health, a new study cautions. They're saying they did a study where 21 children became ill between 2009 and 2024 after consuming slush ice drinks. Yeah, you know, the childhood favorite right there. They're saying most prevalent symptoms included acute decrease in consciousness, hypoglycemia, which means low blood sugar, metabolic acidosis, which is lactic acid buildup in the bloodstream. Another one that I can't pronounce that means falsely elevated triglycerides. Boy, another one that's low potassium levels and probably more. So you may want to slow the roll on the ice drinks until you guys research that one. Here's a quick little snippet that sums it up. Glycerol is used as a sweetener to maintain the semi-frozen texture of some, not all, slush ice drinks, Rochelle said. In quotes, it is being used more often in recent years as a sugar substitute. She noted large doses can be harmful to small children. This is what I'm talking about. These big companies are huge, billion-dollar companies with the guy at the top that owns them all. They've got the money to hire the scientists to figure out how to make things last longer, taste better, and cost less to sell you, putting profit over people. This is why you guys need to switch stores. You guys realize that most of the stuff that's sold to us in the United States that has all these toxic ingredients are banned elsewhere, there's news articles on this stuff that's just hidden under the rug, and I found one. I want to show it to you.
We want to turn now to a series of stories that we are doing this week on how U.S. food regulations have left American consumers exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries. CBS's Holly Williams goes in depth to show us how some of these ingredients may be linked to cancer and other health-related issues.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
Folks, wake up! There's a reason why these things are banned in other countries. We get it, carcinogenic or not, we get to consume them. Does that not infuriate you? Let's get a little bit more info on this.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
Newsflash, this is stuff that you guys have been eating for years, day in and day out.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Do you think most Americans are aware that they're being exposed to substances that are viewed as dangerous over here?
They probably just think, well, if it's available and it's in the store, then it's probably fine.
And isn't that the truth? If you think it's in the store, it should be safe, right? So why does the FDA say, well, it's a toxin, but you can have this much and it's okay? I feel like we're science projects, folks.
Stacey McNamara is from upstate New York, but has been living in London for 10 years. She told us raising children on this side of the Atlantic has opened her eyes to what's allowed in food in the US. She has no plans to ever move back home.
And is food safety a part of that decision?
For sure, yeah. How am I going to protect my children when it's just everywhere?
In a statement to CBS News, the FDA said that when used properly, potassium bromate converts to a harmless substance during food production. But at the same time, Nora, it acknowledged that not all potassium bromate may convert, saying control measures can minimize the amount in food.
How does that make you guys feel? And what do you think about the FDA? Put it down in the comments down below. Do you think that they're putting our health and safety in the #1 spot, or are they tied in with the huge conglomerates that run everything and possibly owned? Who knows at this rate? They may even own the FDA. I don't know. But I can say there's something to be said about everything being banned somewhere else, but okay here, and a bunch of scientific studies to show that it is harmful for us. And yet we're still consuming this stuff every single day of our life. Now I've got one more really good clip that you probably have not seen, and it's very informative and bringing awareness to America. But I'd mentioned it's time to switch stores, vote with your dollars, switch to American-made, non-toxic, and support a family-owned business that is debt-free, not part of the big conglomerates, that has our health and safety as a priority. We've got a team from this very own community that is willing to take time out of their day to help you switch. And we're talking about all the stuff that you buy, consumer goods related, including beef that's unmatched. We can show you and help you switch over to a better store. And if not that, you guys gotta do extensive homework. Shop from little mom and pop shops that aren't controlled by all that stuff. Big fan of farmers markets. Read your labels, and you gotta do extensive research when reading your labels, because a lot of these food ingredients are vague. There might be a bad rap on one ingredient line that doesn't tell you that it's coming from a bioengineered source like a chemical lab or laboratory in general versus in the field. And this is a way that they're getting away with putting their lab-made crap into our stuff, because the line items are starting to get a bad rap, but there could be healthy, natural alternative to that line item. Big companies, are not going to spend the money it takes to get that natural ingredient. But the rules and regulations on how the index of the food labels are supposed to read, you don't know unless you do a lot of research. And that's what I'm saying. They're getting tricky. They're figuring loopholes, and it's getting harder and harder to figure out what's good and what's bad. That's why knowing a company that's doing the homework for you, that has our health, our safety, our well-being in mind, you need that reputation these days, because the big consumer goods and food markets, those conglomerates have one thing in their mind: making more money off of us. So again, if you're looking for an option, top of description, top of pinned comment, and there'll be a link, and we will reach out and get you all the information and find out if it's going to be a good fit for you. Now, I was just sent this video, and you may know RFK Jr., like him or not like him. But the one thing that I like going on here is at least we're getting pointed in the direction of being aware. We can all agree on that. Whether you like the new administration or not, bringing a lot of stuff to people's attention that need to know about this stuff. So let's check this thing out.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'm the Secretary for the Department of Health and Human Services. In the final months of the election, President Trump repeatedly called for removing toxins from our food supply. He added his voice to the millions of Maha moms who were touting the Make America Healthy Again agenda. The first step is radical transparency, because right now, not even the U.S. government knows what's in our food.
Right? I know a handful of you guys don't even care for this guy, but that you can't argue with that. Rapid transparency.
The first step is radical transparency, because right now, not even the U.S. government knows what's in our food. In 1958, the government created a designation called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS, so that we can make common ingredients like salt and baking soda exempt from testing. But today, it isn't just salt and baking soda. Food companies and cooperative regulators have enlarged the GRAS exemption so that these companies can decide for themselves whether a substance is generally recognized as safe.
So you see how that worked out? That's why we've got so much garbage in our ingredients now. Because you get one guy at the top that has his hand in every single company out there, you can bet billions of dollars can buy you anything. And yeah, now they make their own rules. And again, it has to do with profit over people.
GRAS exemption so that these companies can decide for themselves whether a substance is generally recognized as safe. No FDA approval is needed. European nations, on the other hand, require that a chemical be proven safe before it becomes a food ingredient. In our country, the GRAS standard means that every chemical is presumed safe until proven dangerous, and that proof might not happen until millions of Americans are sick with chronic disease. This mass experiment on the American population with GRAS has, in short, been a catastrophe. We now have around 10,000 chemicals in our food. Europe has only 400. For example, titanium dioxide, potentially linked to DNA damage and cancer, is banned in the EU, but it's in our children's food. Potassium bromate, a suspected carcinogen, banned in Europe and Japan. And you guessed it, it's in our children's bread. Food dyes such as red dye 40 and yellow 5 and 6 come with warning labels in Europe. They're linked to behavioral issues in children, but in the U.S., they're generally recognized as safe. I can't really blame the food companies. They're just doing what we've allowed them to get away with in a system that's taken on a life of its own. We all agree now that it's time to change the system, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I am today directing the FDA commissioner to start the process of changing the rules to eliminate the self-affirming GRAS pathway for new ingredients. I'm also directing the FDA and NIH to ramp up post-market assessments of GRAS chemicals currently in our food so that we can rapidly identify the compounds that are making Americans so sick, and so that American consumers and regulators can make informed decisions. This issue isn't going away. Moms aren't going to return to wanting chemicals in our food that are banned in other developed countries. Even industry knows that we have to change. So I promise you, I'm going to work with all parties, the companies, the moms, the scientists, the consumer advocates, to make American food the healthiest in the world the way that it was when I was a child.
Look, that tells me one thing. At least we're starting to get pointed in the right direction. No better time than now to make a healthy smart decision about what goes into your home. It's a day and age to stay aware, paired, and make better choices. Again, if you guys like this type of information, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure the notification bell stays on, because I'm telling you, they're not gonna like this video. And let me know in the comments if you guys want me to keep bringing it to you, because I have got so much information, I just can't drag it out too long. Again, folks, please share out this information. I feel like it's valuable for a lot of folks. And if you guys want some more detailed information and you missed those 2 very hot videos I did, I'll put them right up here. And as always, keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you guys on the next one.